Hello there, and a very gentle welcome as the world outside grows quiet and its bustling echoes soften, inviting us to journey into the tranquil corridors of the distant past, seeking a story to soothe the mind. Tonight, our thoughts will drift back like falling leaves through the centuries to explore the very first places where human knowledge was painstakingly gathered, cherished, and preserved, the ancient libraries. True havens of wisdom and discovery, we'll wander through these early sanctuaries of learning. From sun-baked clay tablets holding Siesing Wenzi secrets to grand halls filled with delicate papyrus scrolls, understanding their profound and enduring importance to civilizations long ago. Our journey begins in the fertile crescent of Mesopotamia, cradle of cities, where over 5,000 years ago, the earliest forms of systematic record keeping emerged, meticulously laying the groundwork for future libraries. Here, amongst the Sumerians and Akkadians, damp clay tablets were carefully inscribed with the intricate wedge-shaped marks of cuneiform script, capturing everything from vital economic transactions and legal codes to epic poems and sacred religious incantations. These initial collections were not libraries in our modern public sense, but rather vital state and temple archives, crucial for effective administration, the precise performance of religious practice, and the rigorous education of highly trained scribes. Imagine royal scribes, their fingers dusty with clay, carefully cataloging these surprisingly heavy tablets, arranging them with precision on sturdy wooden shelves or within woven reed baskets, ensuring the preservation of their society's collective memory and identity. The renowned library of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh, purposefully assembled in the 7th century BCE, held tens of thousands of these invaluable tablets, a remarkable testament to one Assyrian king's profound passion for knowledge and scholarly pursuits. He dispatched learned agents across his vast empire with royal decree to collect texts of all kinds, from intricate divination guides and detailed astronomical observations to practical medical treatises, creating an unparalleled intellectual resource for his era. This great endeavor was not merely for prestige. Ashurbanipal believed that understanding the past and the wisdom of other lands would strengthen his rule and enlighten his people. Moving westward to ancient Egypt, the majestic Nile River, lifeblood of the land, nurtured a sophisticated civilization that deeply revered the written word, preserved primarily on elegant, light rolls of papyrus. Egyptian libraries, often known as houses of life, per Ankh, were frequently attached to temples and considered sacred, protected spaces where vital knowledge of rituals, medicine, astronomy, and mathematics was diligently safeguarded. Scribes, esteemed as highly respected and essential figures in Egyptian society, painstakingly copied texts with reed pens and soot-based ink, their careful, practiced hands ensuring the continuity of wisdom from one generation to the next. These revered collections contained not only complex religious texts like the Book of the Dead, guiding souls through the afterlife, but also captivating literary works, challenging mathematical problems, and detailed administrative records of the pharaoh's lengthy reigns. The precious papyrus scrolls, once completed and checked, were carefully stored in ornate wooden chests or cylindrical pottery cases, often labeled with small clay tags or inscribed dockets indicating their contents. A simple yet surprisingly effective system of organization. Access to these houses of life was typically restricted to priests and scribes who acted as guardians of this sacred knowledge, ensuring its correct interpretation and application in religious and state affairs. Now, let our minds drift like a desert breeze towards the legendary Library of Alexandria in Egypt, founded in the early 3rd century BCE by the ambitious Ptolemaic dynasty, a true marvel and intellectual beacon of the ancient world. This was not merely a passive collection of texts. It was a vibrant, dynamic research institution, the Mausion, aiming to acquire and translate copies of all significant books from every corner of the known world. Scholars, poets, mathematicians, and scientists flocked to Alexandria, drawn by its immense intellectual resources, its scholarly community, and the unique promise of intellectual freedom and royal patronage. It is said that ships docking in Alexandria, its busy harbor, were systematically searched for scrolls by royal officials. These texts were then meticulously copied by skilled scribes, with the originals often kept for the library and a fresh copy returned to the owner. The library, according to ancient accounts, housed hundreds of thousands of papyrus scrolls, possibly reaching 500,000, all meticulously catalogued and organized by brilliant librarians like Callimachus, who created the foundational Pinnaces. The Pinnaces was a groundbreaking bibliographic work, a comprehensive catalog of authors and their writings, dividing Greek literature into distinct genres and providing valuable biographical notes, a remarkable forerunner to modern library classification systems. Within its learned halls, Euclid formulated his timeless principles of geometry. Eratosthenes, with astonishing accuracy, calculated the Earth's circumference, and Archimedes developed his ingenious mechanical inventions, all nurtured by the library's rich intellectual environment. The great translation project of the Hebrew Bible into Greek, known as the Septuagint, a task involving numerous scholars over many years, is also believed to have been undertaken here, a monumental scholarly and cultural endeavor. Tragically, the great library of Alexandria suffered from a series of devastating fires, political neglect, and civil unrest over several centuries, its unparalleled collection gradually diminishing, a profound and irreplaceable loss for humanity's accumulated knowledge. Yet, the very idea of such a universal library, a single place dedicated to collecting, preserving, and sharing all human wisdom, continued to inspire scholars, rulers, and thinkers for millennia to come. In ancient Greece, while no single public library rivaled Alexandria in sheer scale or ambition, a deep cultural appreciation for learning fostered the growth of many important collections, both private and state-supported. Philosophical schools, such as Plato's esteemed Academy and Aristotle's influential Lyceum in Athens, maintained significant libraries that directly supported their profound teachings and wide-ranging research, shaping the very course of Western thought. Aristotle, himself a renowned collector of manuscripts and a systematic thinker, is credited with teaching the early Ptolemaic kings of Egypt how to effectively organize their burgeoning libraries, his intellectual influence extending far beyond his own school. These Greek libraries primarily consisted of papyrus scrolls, carefully handled and stored, and access was often limited to the registered members of the particular philosophical school or a privileged circle of associated scholars. Public libraries, funded by wealthy patrons or the state, began to emerge in various Greek cities during the Hellenistic period, reflecting a growing understanding of the crucial importance of shared knowledge for informed civic life and cultural development. These institutions often became centers for public readings and intellectual discourse, further embedding the value of literature and learning within Greek society. As the Roman Republic rose to dominate the Mediterranean world, its leaders and wealthy citizens were greatly influenced by the sophisticated culture of Greece, including the noble tradition of establishing and maintaining libraries. Julius Caesar himself, a man of both action and letters, ambitiously planned to build a grand public library in Rome to rival Alexandria, a vision that was later realized by his successor, Augustus, with the establishment of the esteemed Palatine Library. Roman libraries, both public and private, rapidly became potent symbols of status, education, and cultural refinement, often lavishly decorated with fine marble, intricate mosaics, and imposing statues of gods, emperors, and famous authors. They typically had separate, clearly marked sections for Greek and Latin texts, reflecting the deeply bilingual nature of Roman intellectual life, with scrolls carefully stored in built-in wall niches called armaria, protected by wooden doors. Wealthy Romans, like the orator Cicero and the writer Pliny the Younger, prided themselves on their extensive private libraries, often located in their countryside villas, serving as tranquil retreats for dedicated study, contemplation, and literary composition. The magnificent Ulpian Library, built by Emperor Trajan in the early 2nd century CE as part of his Grand Forum, was one of Rome's largest and most impressive, housing an estimated 20,000 scrolls in both Greek and Latin. These Roman libraries played an absolutely crucial role in preserving and transmitting the vast body of Greek literature and philosophy, alongside significant Roman contributions to law, history, poetry, and rhetoric. Scribes, who were often educated slaves, or freedmen possessing excellent calligraphy skills, were employed in large numbers to copy texts, ensuring their wider availability, though the process was labor-intensive, expensive, and inevitably prone to errors. The papyrus scrolls themselves were inherently fragile, highly susceptible to damage from pervasive moisture, destructive insects, and the wear and tear of frequent handling, making their long-term preservation a constant and difficult challenge for librarians. Despite these challenges, the Romans established an impressive network of libraries across their empire, from Britain to North Africa, spreading literacy and Roman culture. With the gradual decline and eventual fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century CE, many of these grand classical libraries fell into disrepair, were looted, or were deliberately destroyed, leading to a significant and lamentable loss of ancient texts. However, the precious tradition of scholarship and the vital practice of book preservation were courageously carried on in numerous monastic libraries established throughout the newly Christianized Europe, where monks diligently copied religious and classical manuscripts. These monastic scriptoria, dedicated rooms for writing, became vital centers for the conservation and transmission of knowledge during the often turbulent Middle Ages, with monks painstakingly creating beautiful and durable illuminated manuscripts on parchment. Parchment, meticulously prepared from treated animal skins, was significantly more durable than papyrus allowing texts to survive the rigors of centuries, though it was also considerably more expensive and time-consuming to produce. In the Eastern Roman Empire, or Byzantium, with its capital in Constantinople, libraries continued to flourish, preserving a vast corpus of Greek learning, including many texts lost in the West, which would later fuel the European Renaissance. Scholars in the burgeoning Islamic world also played an absolutely critical role during this period, actively translating Greek texts into Arabic and making their own groundbreaking contributions to science, mathematics, medicine, and philosophy. Great libraries in intellectual centers like Baghdad, Cordoba, and Cairo became radiant beacons of learning, attracting scholars from diverse backgrounds and fostering a remarkably vibrant and innovative intellectual culture for centuries. These centers not only preserved ancient knowledge that might otherwise have vanished, but also critically expanded upon it, creating an essential bridge between the classical world and the emerging scholarly traditions of medieval Europe. The House of Wisdom in Baghdad, for example, was a major public academy and intellectual center which housed an enormous collection of books and supported translation efforts on an unprecedented scale. The concept of the library as a sacred repository of human knowledge, a hallowed place for quiet study and profound intellectual exploration, endured through these many transformative and often challenging historical periods. From the simple, functional clay tablet archives of ancient Sumer to the scroll-filled, echoing halls of Alexandria and Rome, these institutions consistently reflected a deep-seated and universal human desire to understand, to record, and to remember. They were born from the fundamental understanding that knowledge is precious, a vital legacy to be carefully passed down through generations, an indispensable tool for societal progress, and an endless source of profound human wonder. The careful curation of diverse texts, the innovative development of early cataloging systems, and the unwavering dedication of countless scribes and librarians laid the essential foundations for the libraries we cherish and utilize today. Even the immense challenges they consistently faced, the inherent fragility of their writing materials, the constant threat of destruction from fire or conflict, the sheer effort of manual copying, only highlight the immense value placed on these collections. The echoes of these ancient libraries resonate powerfully in our modern institutions, in the quiet, contemplative rustle of turning pages in a university library, and the soft, ethereal glow of screens accessing vast digital archives. They remind us, with gentle insistence, that the earnest pursuit of knowledge is a truly timeless human endeavor, connecting us across vast stretches of history and across diverse, fascinating cultures. The innate desire to learn, to share compelling stories, and to preserve accumulated wisdom is a strong, unbroken thread that runs through the entire intricate tapestry of human civilization, a deeply comforting and reassuring thought. As we consider these ancient sanctuaries of thought, let the quiet dedication of those who built, maintained, and protected them inspire within us a profound sense of peace, gratitude, and appreciation. The quiet, often uncelebrated diligence of countless scribes, the ambitious, far-seeing vision of enlightened kings and patrons, and the passionate, relentless curiosity of scholars all contributed to this enduring and precious legacy. Imagine for a moment the faint earthy scent of old papyrus and drying ink, the cool, smooth touch of ancient stone walls, the focused, almost reverent silence of readers wholly absorbed in texts that spoke to them across the ages. These libraries were always more than just static buildings or mere storehouses of scrolls. They were vibrant, living centers of intellectual ferment, where new ideas were born, debated, refined, and discoveries were made that changed the world. They housed the foundational stories of gods and heroes that shaped cultural beliefs, the intricate laws that governed complex societies, the burgeoning scientific understanding of the cosmos, and the deepest, most searching philosophical inquiries into existence. The very act of collecting, selecting, and meticulously organizing these diverse forms of knowledge was itself an act of shaping civilization, of collectively defining what was deemed important to remember, to study, and to pass on. Consider the sheer, painstaking effort involved in hand copying lengthy and complex texts, character by character, a profound testament to the perceived intrinsic value of each word, each nuanced idea, each carefully constructed story. This meticulous, often anonymous labor ensured that many foundational texts of literature, science, and philosophy were not entirely lost to the inevitable ravages of time and decay, at least not all of them, preserving vital sparks of genius. The establishment of public libraries in major Roman cities represented a significant, progressive step towards democratizing access to knowledge. Even though widespread literacy was still a distant dream for the majority of the population, yet the underlying principle that knowledge should be available beyond a small, privileged elite was a powerful and transformative one, influencing societal development and educational ideals for many centuries to come. The crucial role of libraries in fostering a sense of shared cultural identity and historical continuity cannot be overstated. They were, in essence, the memory banks and repositories of a people's collective intellectual and artistic heritage. In the quiet, contemplative spaces of these ancient institutions, individuals could connect directly with the thoughts, insights, and experiences of those who came before them, effectively transcending the limitations of their own brief time on earth. The loss of any part of these invaluable collections, whether through sudden catastrophic accident, the turmoil of conflict, or the slow decay of neglect, was always recognized as a profound tragedy, a painful severing of vital ties to the past. But the remarkable resilience of the library as an institution, its innate ability to adapt, to transform, and to reemerge in different forms across diverse cultures, speaks volumes about its fundamental and enduring importance to humanity. From the wedge-marked clay tablets of Sumer and Akkad to the interconnected digital databases and global information networks of today, the core mission remains strikingly consistent: to gather, to preserve, and to share the abundant fruits of human intellect and creativity. The quiet, unwavering dedication to this noble mission, spanning millennia and countless generations, offers a comforting sense of continuity and enduring purpose in a constantly changing and often unpredictable world. Let the thought of these ancient keepers of wisdom, working diligently and often anonymously in their scriptoria and library halls, bring a pervasive sense of calm, order, and deep respect for their invaluable contributions. Their tireless efforts, often against considerable odds, ensured that the vital whispers of the past, the accumulated wisdom of ages, could still reach us today, offering timeless insights, enduring inspiration, and a deeper, more nuanced understanding of our shared human story. As you now drift gently towards sleep, may the enduring and inspiring legacy of these ancient libraries provide a comforting and peaceful backdrop, a quiet reminder of the timeless human pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and ultimately peace. The quiet, almost palpable hum of accumulated wisdom, so carefully gathered, lovingly preserved, and generously shared across the ages, now lulls you into a truly restful and profoundly serene slumber. Greetings once more, as twilight paints the sky in gentle, deepening hues, and we seek a quiet narrative to accompany the day's end, a tale crafted to calm the spirit and warmly invite repose. Tonight, we embark on an even more fragrant journey, tracing the winding path of a simple leaf that subtly conquered the world. Tea, a beverage steeped in rich history, intricate ritual, and comforting warmth. Let us explore with greater detail how this remarkable plant, Camellia sinensis, traveled from ancient, mist-shrouded mountains to elaborate, serene tea rooms, shaping diverse cultures and soothing countless souls across millennia with its uniquely subtle charm. Our story begins in the misty highlands of ancient China, a land of profound philosophies, where legend whispers of Emperor Shennong, the divine farmer who discovered tea nearly 5,000 years ago through serendipity. As the tale goes, while boiling water for purification beneath a wild tea tree, a gentle breeze caused a few leaves to drift into his simmering pot, infusing the water with a delightful aroma and an unexpectedly refreshing taste. Initially, tea was likely consumed for its potent medicinal properties, highly valued by traditional healers for its perceived ability to invigorate the body, dispel fatigue, and sharpen the mind, a natural remedy gifted by the earth. Early Chinese texts, some dating back over 2 millennia, mention Tu, an ancient character often interpreted as tea, describing its use in sacred religious ceremonies and as a bitter, stimulating brew for scholars and monks seeking clarity. These early preparations often involved boiling fresh leaves with rice, ginger, salt, or onions, creating a hearty soup rather than the delicate infusion we know today, reflecting its initial utilitarian purpose. For many centuries, tea remained a regional specialty, primarily enjoyed in the southern provinces of China, like Yunnan and Sichuan. Its cultivation techniques and preparation methods slowly evolving through careful observation and practice. The Tang dynasty, from the 7th to the 10th century CE, marked a true golden age for tea, transforming it from a primarily medicinal herb into a beloved daily beverage, enjoyed across all social classes, from the imperial court to humble villages. During this vibrant era, tea cultivation spread widely across the empire, and new methods of processing the leaves, such as careful steaming to halt oxidation and forming them into compressed bricks or cakes, became common practice. These compressed forms were not only easier to transport along burgeoning trade routes, like the famed tea horse road to Tibet, but also served as a form of currency in some regions. Lu Yu, revered as the Cha Xian or sage of tea, penned the Cha Jing, or the classic of tea, the first comprehensive and influential monograph on tea, detailing its cultivation, meticulous preparation, and profound enjoyment. His seminal work elevated tea drinking to an art form, describing the ideal spring water, specific utensils crafted from bamboo or porcelain, and the perfect tranquil atmosphere for appreciating its subtle qualities, influencing tea culture for generations. Tea houses, known as chaguan, began to flourish in bustling Chinese cities, becoming vibrant social hubs where people from all walks of life gathered to drink tea, share news, discuss business, and enjoy storytelling or musical performances. The imperial government even recognized tea's significant economic importance, imposing a carefully managed tax on its production and sale, establishing it as a significant commodity in both domestic and international trade. The Song dynasty, which followed from the 10th to the 13th century, witnessed even further refinements in tea culture, particularly the ascendancy of powdered tea and the development of elaborate, highly competitive tea competitions. Whipped powdered tea, matcha's ancestor, made by grinding specially grown and steamed green tea leaves into a fine jade green powder and whisking it vigorously with hot water, became the height of sophistication and artistic expression. Elaborate tea ceremonies and gatherings developed around this practice, emphasizing precision, mindfulness, and a deep aesthetic appreciation, with connoisseurs meticulously judging the quality of the tea and the skill of its preparation. These spirited contests, or tucha, involved participants meticulously preparing the tea to achieve the perfect, stable froth, vibrant color, and complex taste, often using exquisite Jianware ceramic bowls and intricately carved bamboo whisks, showcasing true artistic mastery. The serene, understated beauty of Song dynasty tea bowls, with their rich, dark glazes, often streaked with delicate patterns like oil spot or hare's fur, reflects the deep aesthetic and philosophical connection that developed with tea culture during this enlightened period. From China, the knowledge of tea and its cultivation eventually journeyed like a whispered secret to neighboring Japan, carried primarily by Buddhist monks who had studied in renowned Chinese monasteries. The monk Aisai is traditionally credited with reintroducing tea seeds and the practice of drinking powdered tea to Japan in the late 12th century, fervently promoting it for its significant mental and physical health benefits. He believed tea could greatly aid Zen meditation by promoting alertness and calm and contribute to longevity, writing an influential treatise called Kissa Yojoki, or Drinking Tea for Health, which helped popularize tea among the samurai class and clergy. Over subsequent centuries, the Japanese meticulously refined their own unique tea traditions, culminating in the highly ritualized and deeply spiritual tea ceremony known as chanoyu, literally hot water for tea, or the way of tea. Chanoyu, profoundly influenced by the principles of Zen Buddhism, emphasizes harmony, duwa, respect, kei, purity, sei, and tranquility, jaku, transforming the simple act of preparing and drinking tea into a profound, meditative, and artistic practice. The tea room, or chashitsu, became a specially designed, often rustic and intimate space for these ceremonies, characterized by its deliberate simplicity, use of natural materials like wood and bamboo, and an atmosphere of serene, focused contemplation. Every single element within the chanoyu, from the deliberate choice of handcrafted utensils and the seasonal, understated flower arrangement, chabana, to the carefully selected calligraphic scroll, kakemono, contributes to the overall aesthetic and spiritual experience. The journey of tea to the Western world began much later than it spread in Asia, primarily through pioneering Portuguese and enterprising Dutch traders and missionaries who encountered it during the 16th and 17th centuries. Initially, tea was an exceedingly expensive and highly exotic luxury in Europe, available only to the wealthiest echelons of society and often regarded with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism as a medicinal tonic or a novel beverage. The Dutch East India Company, VOC, played a particularly significant role in popularizing tea in the West, importing it in increasingly larger quantities from China and later Japan, making it somewhat more accessible, though still a costly indulgence. Early European accounts and travelogues described tea with great fascination, noting its unique preparation methods involving steeping leaves in hot water and the refined, almost ceremonial tea drinking customs observed in China and Japan. It was often marketed in Europe for its supposed wide-ranging health benefits, touted by physicians and apothecaries as a cure for ailments such as headaches, indigestion, and fatigue, which certainly contributed to its growing appeal among affluent consumers. Tea's arrival and subsequent enthusiastic conquest of Britain is a particularly notable and transformative chapter in its global story, profoundly shaping British culture, social customs, and even its economic and political history. Catherine of Braganza, the Portuguese princess who married King Charles II of England in 1662, is often credited with popularizing the habit of tea drinking among the English aristocracy, making it a fashionable courtly ritual. She brought with her a precious casket of fine tea as part of her royal dowry, and her evident fondness for the beverage quickly made it a desirable status symbol at court, sparking a trend that rapidly spread throughout high society. By the 18th century, tea had become a beloved staple in many British households, from stately manors to modest cottages, despite persistently high taxes that unfortunately led to widespread smuggling operations and the common sale of adulterated or counterfeit tea. Tea gardens, elegant outdoor establishments often featuring musical performances and promenades where people could drink tea, socialize, and enjoy light entertainment, became immensely popular in London and other major cities. The powerful British East India Company eventually gained a virtual monopoly on the lucrative tea trade from China, importing vast quantities of tea leaves to satisfy the nation's rapidly growing thirst, leading to immense profits for the company and the crown. This insatiable British demand for Chinese tea, however, eventually contributed to significant trade imbalances and escalating geopolitical tensions, including the infamous Opium Wars in the mid-19th century, as Britain sought to offset its silver payments for tea. To break the Chinese monopoly and secure their own supply, the British embarked on ambitious projects to cultivate tea in their colonies, particularly in the Assam and Darjeeling regions of India, and later in Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, fundamentally transforming global tea production. The development of new, industrialized tea processing techniques, such as the efficient CTC, crush, tear, curl method, allowed for the mass production of strong black tea suitable for the burgeoning market of convenient tea bags. Afternoon tea, a light and elegant meal typically served between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, became an enduring and cherished British tradition, often involving delicate finger sandwiches, freshly baked scones with clotted cream and jam, assorted pastries, and, of course, pots of freshly brewed tea. This ritual provided a welcome pause in the day, a moment for social interaction and refined indulgence, solidifying tea's central place in British daily life. Across the Atlantic, tea also played a significant, albeit different, role in American colonial history, where its trajectory took a sharp turn due to political events. Tea was initially a popular and fashionable beverage in the American colonies, mirroring trends in Britain, until disputes over British taxation policies, famously expressed by the resonant slogan, "No taxation without representation," led to widespread and organized boycotts. The Boston Tea Party of 1773, a dramatic act of defiance where colonists disguised as Native Americans dumped hundreds of chests of East India Company tea into Boston Harbor to protest the Tea Act, became a pivotal and symbolic event leading up to the American Revolution. Following independence, coffee, being less politically charged and more readily available from other sources, gradually surpassed tea in popularity in the United States, though tea consumption has seen a significant and steady resurgence in recent decades. One distinctly American tea innovation is iced tea, which gained widespread popularity after being ingeniously showcased at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair during a particularly hot and humid summer. Richard Bleckenden, a British tea plantation owner representing Indian tea, reportedly struggled to give away samples of hot tea until, in a moment of inspiration, he poured it over ice, creating an instant and refreshing sensation that captivated fairgoers. Today, tea proudly stands as the second most consumed beverage in the world, surpassed only by water, enjoyed in countless delightful variations and diverse cultural contexts across the entire globe, from the robust multi-black teas of India and Sri Lanka and the smoky Lapsang Souchong to the delicate grassy green teas of Japan and China, the complex floral oolongs of Taiwan, and the myriad caffeine-free herbal tisanes from every continent. Its diversity is truly immense. Different cultures have lovingly developed their own unique and cherished ways of preparing and enjoying tea. Whether it's the heavily sweetened mint tea of Morocco poured from a height, the spicy milky chai of India, or the savory, warming butter tea of Tibet, the simple, gracious act of brewing and sharing tea often symbolizes hospitality, friendship, respect, and a welcome moment of pause and connection in an increasingly busy and fragmented world. A ritual that beautifully transcends borders and languages. Modern science continues to explore and validate the numerous health benefits of tea, particularly its rich antioxidant content and potential role in promoting cardiovascular health, echoing the ancient wisdom that first recognized its healing and restorative properties. Tea plantations, sprawling across hillsides in many countries, provide vital livelihoods for millions of people worldwide, though pressing issues of fair trade, ethical labor practices, and sustainable farming methods remain important considerations for the global industry. The global tea culture, in all its multifaceted glory, reflects a beautiful and intricate tapestry of history, agriculture, art, philosophy, and social custom, all stemming from the humble leaves of a single, remarkable plant, whether enjoyed in a highly formal meditative ceremony as a quick, invigorating morning cuppa or as a refreshing, thirst-quenching iced glass on a summer day. Tea continues to offer comfort, stimulation, and a tangible connection to a rich and storied past. It's a beverage that has silently witnessed empires rise and dramatically fall, has crossed vast oceans and forbidding deserts in traders' caravans, and has found a cherished, enduring place in the hearts and homes of people everywhere. The remarkable journey of the jade leaf is a powerful testament to its enduring appeal, its incredible ability to adapt to new climates and cultures, and its unique power to bring people together in shared moments of warmth, conversation, and reflection. From a chance, possibly mythical discovery by an ancient emperor to a truly global phenomenon, tea's captivating story is one of quiet perseverance, cultural diffusion, and profound, often underestimated cultural impact. It gently reminds us that even the simplest things found in nature, like a single leaf, can hold extraordinary, unfolding stories and connect us deeply to the vast, awe-inspiring sweep of human history. The gentle, aromatic steam rising from a freshly poured cup of tea can carry with it the faint whispers of ancient monks chanting in remote monasteries, the lively chatter of bustling Tang Dynasty tea houses, and the creak of tall ships on long, perilous sea voyages. As we reflect on this extensive and fragrant journey, may the comforting thought of this ancient and versatile beverage, with its incredibly rich history and soothing, familiar presence, accompany you into a truly peaceful and restorative night. Let the subtle, evocative aroma and the gentle, pervasive warmth of imagined tea envelop your senses completely, bringing profound tranquility, a sense of well-being, and a deep, resonant connection to the ages that have passed. The enduring story of tea is fundamentally a story of human curiosity and discovery, of intricate cultural exchange and adaptation, and of the simple, everyday pleasures that enrich our lives and effectively calm our often troubled minds. May your dreams tonight be as serene, comforting, and perfectly balanced as a meticulously brewed cup of the finest tea, shared in good and joyful company, or savored slowly in moments of quiet, personal contemplation. Good night.